Howdy, folks. I'm Oatman Brian,
I'm Amber.
and here's some more oats. Oh, and folks, there is a live stream happening today. So, if you've been keeping your ears and eyes on that radar, don't forget, today at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern. We hope to see you there. All right, folks, we got a few good stories here today for you. Our first one is titled, Am I a Jerk for Purposely Breaking My Girlfriend's High Heels Prior to My Friend's Wedding? My friend had his wedding last weekend, and I was a groomsman while my girlfriend was in the bridal party. My friend is a man who's 5'6", so needless to say, he has an issue regarding his height. The rest of us groomsmen ranged from 5'7" to 6'2", so we are all taller than him. He has less of an issue with this, but he did have an issue with the height of the bridal party. My girlfriend is taller gal, 5'8", and the rest of them are between his height and her height. During his wedding, he decided that he wanted to look a bit taller, so he bought shoes with insoles that made him 2 inches taller. This was partially driven by the desire to not be shorter than any woman up in front. He also wanted none of the bridesmaids to be in heels. He wanted them all to be in flats, as that would keep them all shorter than him. His wife didn't necessarily agree with this, so she didn't make it a requirement in their outfits to wear flats. So he tasked the groomsmen with talking to the ladies and getting them to wear flats. All of them agreed except my girlfriend. She said that she picked out the heels just to wear for this day and she was going to wear them. I tried to point out that there will be other chances, but this guy only has one wedding and the nice thing to do is just appease him. She said that she listens to the bride and that she said the bride says that she can wear heels, so she will. I tried my best to convince her just to wear some flats, but she wouldn't listen. Eventually, it got too close to the day, and while my girlfriend was practicing, and one of the heels mysteriously broke, and it was too close to the day to get an exact replacement, so she was stuck in flats. So, as you may have guessed, it was me. And I know that it was messed up, but I'll pay to replace them for her. She didn't find out until I told her after the wedding, and she, of course, was not very happy. She said that I was policing her outfit for my insecure friend and that she wanted to look good that day. I don't think what I did was anything wrong, as I stopped her from ruining his wedding day. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Yes, you're the jerk. You destroyed your girlfriend's property because your friend is too insecure. Like, if he had a problem, it was up to him to go and talk to the bridesmaids.
Yeah, I think that this is something that they should have had a discussion between the bride and groom, and that
Yeah,
they should have all been on the same page and set some kind of wedding dress code. Because when you have ambiguous dress codes like that, and somebody decides that they want to follow the dress code, like there wasn't any problem with it,
right.
then it makes it vague and ambiguous. So I don't think it's your girlfriend's fault. I think if anything, it's the planning of the wedding's fault.
Yeah, well, certainly the bride and the groom needed to be on the same page about this because, you need to have uniform, like a
Mm-hmm.
consensus. But the fact that he kind of like was like, I am so insecure, I can't have a woman taller than me. You need to go and get all the women in line. Like, I really don't like, that's the kind of the attitude I'm getting from
Yeah,
this.
and why does it matter if he's shorter than anyone?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see why it was a problem, to be quite honest. And I think that this is just a lot of insecurity. If he was this insecure, then maybe he should have gotten 4 or 6 inch tall flats for himself. And then he could have come in style,
Towering over everyone.
yeah,
He just get
towering.
stilts. Just get
Yeah,
stilts.
yeah, get stilts. I don't understand why height is such an odd thing. Why people are so insecure about height. It just doesn't. I mean, I don't personally have any problem with my height. I'm not a particularly tall individual, And I don't feel like it's ever. Maybe the only time I really cared about being short was in middle school.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm a short girl here, and I did used to be kind of upset that I was as short as I am. And so I understand being frustrated about your height, and, people can be mean about it too. So I get that. But also, you don't get to sabotage people's stuff.
Yeah, I think the biggest point here is that OP took matters into their own hands and destroyed his girlfriend's property because because he wanted to. Essentially, he wanted to help his friend out, and I think that was the wrong move here. So anyhow, take care and good luck.
And also, one more thing. If your wedding is so easily ruined by someone wearing high heels, then that's not a good sign.
Yeah. And Fabulous Sauti says, "You're the jerk and so is your friend. No woman should ever have to make herself smaller for a man's ego."
Yes.
Tardacious Autisimo says, "Is this really much different than a bride wanting to look better than her bridesmaid? Like, I get it. The guy has some self-esteem issues, but it's not like it's a crazy ask for the guy's wedding day. I have seen some way crazier requests from the bride's side, but everyone seems to brush it off because it's her day." It's a complicated situation because I don't think they necessarily have a bad point there, but
Well, and I think it's gross when people put really weird expectations on their bridesmaids too. Like I
yeah,
don't think
yeah.
you should be intentionally trying to make people look less good on your wedding day.
Like, I understand the not wearing white.
Mhm.
I don't think it's a good tradition, period, but I can understand why someone would be like, "Hey, you shouldn't wear white."
Right, because it makes sense for the wedding, the people getting married to want to have special colors for themselves. Like, that's fine. That makes sense.
And it also makes sense for things like we want the bridesmaids all to have a uniform color or a particular style dress, and that does make sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think where it starts to get into iffy territory is things like, "Oh, can you change your hair color?"
Right, and I would be just as likely to decry someone if they wanted the bridesmaids to change their hair color or
Hmm.
not wear makeup or any number of the weird things you will do because people do these weird things.
So I don't know. I mean, I think that this one's probably going to be up to some people's subjective opinions here.
Yeah,
So
but I think the key thing is no matter what you think of the grooms, like whether you would think he had a good idea or not, OP is still in the wrong for sabotage. Like
yeah,
that's
yeah,
the whether the groom's request was reasonable or not is entirely irrelevant to OP's sabotage.
yeah. I think so. I think so. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks. Our next letter is titled, "Am I a jerk for scraping the ice and snow off of my roommate's girlfriend's car?" I'm a 26-year-old male, and I live in New York with a roommate, a 29-year-old male, and it's fine. We aren't that close or anything, but we get along. We keep clean and pay rent on time. I'm originally from the rural Midwest, and the stereotype that people are mean in New York is very true. I was always considered the darker, odd one in the Midwest because I preferred not to talk to people, but in New York, it seems too extreme. I'm fine with it, but if someone walks in your eye line and you smile at them, they will look at you like you're insane. Where I come from, you could encounter a random stranger anywhere and have a long, in depth conversation with them. Just in general, people are nicer. In the wintertime, if I got off from my job at 9 and another person got off at 7, if they saw snow but it stopped snowing, they would brush the snow off and scrape off the car and ice off my car. I do the same for a coworker. In New York, people get offended when you say ma'am or sir, but in the rural Midwest or South, people get offended if you don't say it. Recently, my roommate's girlfriend stayed over during a snowstorm. My roommate doesn't have a car, but his girlfriend does. The snow died down after a couple of days, and when I went out to leave in the morning, I brushed the snow off of my car and also did the same for his girlfriend's car. I also shoveled enough snow so that we could both back out. I didn't even say that I did it or mention it. But when I got back home in the night, my roommate looked upset. He was like, "Never do that again." I didn't even know what he was talking about. And when I asked him to clarify, he said, "You know." Eventually, he told me that brushing snow and scraping off ice from other people's cars is weird. I told him that it's not even a big deal and it's just a nice thing to do. I asked if his girlfriend was angry about it or something, and he said that she was happy and pointed out how I'm always a really nice person. Is this weird to do? I don't think that brushing snow off of someone's car after you do yours is weird, or am I just the jerk? Alright, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. You did a kind gesture. It sounds like your roommate is a bit insecure because his girlfriend is appreciative of your efforts.
Yeah.
But you don't have to stop being a nice person because of that.
Yeah, I think that the person who's really important here is his girlfriend,
Mm-hmm.
and if she doesn't think that you're coming across as weird or creepy or trying
Right.
to like hit on her or something like that, like if you had carved like I love you into her snow into the windshield or something like that, then she might have a problem with it then.
Yeah, well, and even if she was just a little creeped out by it, I would say don't do it in the future.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people are like weirded out by those
Yeah.
gestures and might assume you have nefarious intents.
Yeah. But it seems like she's fine with this, and the only reason why the boyfriend, your roommate, is not fine with it is because she's like, oh, he's such a nice guy.
Yeah, well, it's like, dude, you could have gone out there and shoveled off her car too.
Yeah, there was nothing stopping him from doing that. So, no, OP, I don't think you're a jerk here. I think your roommate's just being insecure. Anyhow, take care and good luck. And BC Kane says, not the jerk, but also, I don't know where you're living in New York, but it definitely isn't any place that I have lived. LI, Queens, in the city. People will help with snow removal from cars, sidewalks, and driveways all over the place, even street parked up on the west side. I have tons of conversations with people on trains and subway platforms, the bus, and even waiting in the line at CVS, and no one has looked at me strangely for saying sir or ma'am, unless I'm saying it to some really young people. If this is the environment you are in, I would move because that really isn't a good place to live in. And OP replies, I don't mind, but in comparison to the rural Midwest or South, it can seem mean. We're kind of having a cultural difference here. Alright, folks, our next letter is titled, I'm a 23-year-old female, and my boyfriend is a 25-year-old male, and we had a pregnancy scare, and my boyfriend's reaction to it is weirding me out. And this is an r/relationship advice one. A few things happened in the lead up to the pregnancy scare. Our protection broke, and I skipped my period. I think due to being sick and stressed, which doesn't happen often to me. I got a pregnancy test, and it messed up, and I don't know how to use it, and it came up void. Why do bad things happen all at once? And it was a really stressful week. Apparently, you have to do the test first thing in the morning on a certain day. Anyways, I thought that I was pregnant and booked a doctor's appointment, so I was a bit unsure for a week or so if I was or wasn't pregnant. Good news is that I wasn't actually pregnant, and the doctor went through birth control options with me and sent me to the local health clinic as they have group meetings and whatnot for learning. I have always been upfront with my boyfriend that I don't want kids, and according to him, neither does he. When I told him the news, he was ecstatic, and he couldn't wait to start our little family. I kept trying to remind him that I didn't want this, but he was too caught up in it all. I sort of left him to it after that, and I dealt with it myself. I was stressed out. I didn't need to deal with the whole other person on top of it. He clearly knew that I didn't want to be pregnant, and if it actually came down to it, I would terminate the pregnancy. 2 days later, he came back telling me that he has it all sorted out. He sorted out living arrangements for us to move in together back into his childhood room with his parents on the opposite side of the country. His parents were positively thrilled, and his mom tried to call me multiple times. He started buying furniture online for us and had them delivered and told me that we were going to go over there the next weekend to set it up and start moving. This is also sudden considering at this point I didn't actually know that I was pregnant or not. On top of that, I have met his parents once. I live near my parents and I live in my own apartment. He is in a house share. If I was pregnant and wanting to keep it, he had just picked up the weirdest and dumbest idea. I haven't actually told him if I'm pregnant or not. I found out yesterday, and I have all of this that I want to talk about, which I feel like it should happen all in one go. All right, folks, what advice do we have for poor OP here?
get out of this relationship right now. Your
Yeah.
boyfriend has shown you that he is not on the same page as you. He will not support you. He will actively try to make you do something that you don't want to do.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of questioning whether or not the protection broke
On
on
accident.
accident.
That was my thought exactly too. Is this may be something he's pushing for
Hmm.
and make it happen? So do not be with this man anymore. You need to get out of here, this relationship, because he is not a safe person to be with if he can't respect this fundamental decision.
Yeah, it's clear, I think, that he isn't on the same page as OP here, and that's problematic. And it's one of those things where if you want to build a family, then both people need to be involved in that decision
Mm-hmm.
making process. And what's more disconcerting is he's made all these decisions too on OP's behalf.
Right, and he's also like, we're gonna move across the country to my family. Like
Hmm.
that is a big red flag in any relationship.
Yeah,
It seems like isolation right there.
yeah, it does seem like a kind of an abusive tactic. So couple that whole thing where he's just like, "Oh, you're gonna move with me,
Yeah, and
and you don't
like
have a choice in this. We bought furniture."
yeah, like he's taking away your agency every step of the way. If a partner does that, like it is not a good situation.
Yeah, time to run. So OP, I know that this is probably a really hard thing, and I know it's always easier to say said than done to be like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, just get out of that relationship," because it isn't always easy.
No, it's not always easy, but luckily it sounds like you don't live with him. It sounds
Hmm.
like it will, and you don't have kids with him right now. So like it was easier to extract your life from him now than if he forces you into a pregnancy you don't want.
Yeah, because then he'll be there with you forever, right? You'll have to take care, you'll have to take care of the kids together if you end up keeping it, or if he, there's just, it's no good situation, right? So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, thanks to Amber, and Amber's got a joke for us.
When is a door not a door?
Well, a door isn't a door when it's Bernard the Unhinged.
that's that's pretty good. But when it's a jar,
When it's a jar, no. When it's Bernard the Unhinged. And see, Bernard the Unhinged is unhinged, so it's by default a jar.
that is true.
And I've got Mega Mint tea. All right, folks, thanks so much for watching. Today is Friday, and we have a live stream today. I keep forgetting to mention it, and I probably should have mentioned it at the beginning of this video here. In fact, I might even go back and make some magic happen to make that happen. So we recorded 3 stories today because I forgot that it's the live stream up until now. So, what's our moral of the story, Amber?
I guess don't sabotage people. Be nice to people, don't sabotage them. I
Yeah,
think are good morals.
yeah, exactly. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you all later today.
Bye.